Hello and welcome everyone, and I hope that you are doing great. Here is Hassan, and today we will try to discuss the ongoing conflict between Egypt and Israel over the Philadelphia Corridor, and we will try to understand the nature of this conflict and what significance this corridor has to the Egyptians, if it's significant at all, and is Philadelphia Corridor an issue? Of course it's an issue between Egypt and Israel, but if it's the main issue between Egypt and Israel, or there is something else regarding to the Israeli aggression on Gaza. So 2 days ago, Benjamin Netanyahu held a press conference in English because he held the same press conference in Hebrew the very previous day. And I'll be honest with you, I worked as a journalist for many years, and I've never seen a press conference to be held in two different times, in two different languages, and both versions are supposed to be the same press conference. But we are fine with that. We totally understand that, because we know when Benjamin Netanyahu wants to fool his own people, he delivers his speeches in Hebrew, and when he wants to manipulate the international community, he delivers his speeches in English. But I think he understood that he committed huge mistakes when trying to fool his own people in the Hebrew speech. So he wanted to restate some statements so they won't be counted on him. We totally fine with that. We understand that. But in his press conference, the English press conference, Benjamin Netanyahu tried to accuse Egypt of facilitating smuggling weapons to Gaza. Of course, he first tried to explain why it's important for Israel to put its hands on Philadelphia Corridor and how Hamas gets its weapons smuggled through this corridor. But if not explicitly, implicitly, he wanted to accuse Egypt that facilitates weapons smuggling to Hamas, as if Egypt turns a blind eye to what's going on. But he stated that. He said that, yes, Egypt wanted to secure the borders, but they are not efficient, or what they are doing is not enough, as if the Egyptian army is not efficient in securing the borders with Gaza. And here we need to understand something. First, you need to understand that the Egyptian army is the most powerful army in the Middle East. And this is not because I'm Egyptian. That's what global firepower ranking says. Egypt's global firepower is the most powerful army in the region. So, if the most powerful army in the region is unable to secure a 14-kilometer border, then there is no secured border in this region at all. If the most powerful army is unable to secure a 14-kilometer border, the Egyptian army is inefficient in securing them. And we know how it's important nowadays to secure the borders between us and Gaza. So it's insane to say that. That's first. The second thing, you also need to understand that the Egyptian army has been through a fight against terrorism in Sinai Peninsula. And we know the significance of destroying all the tunnels. It was imperative to us to destroy all the tunnels. So thank God we won this war. It took us years to win this war against terrorism, but this war wouldn't have ended if there were a single tunnel working between Egypt and Gaza, because yes, these tunnels were a nagging issue for the Egyptian army, but efficiently the Egyptian army destroyed all these tunnels. Yes, Benjamin Netanyahu in his press conference showed us a hole of one of these tunnels, and he wanted to say, oh, can you see how a big truck could get through this tunnel? Okay, this hole exists on Gaza, but is there another hole connected to it? The Egyptian side? Of course not, because you know better than any that the Egyptian army destroyed all these tunnels. And that's how the Egyptian army won its war against terrorism in Sinai Peninsula. The second thing is, I don't understand from where he gets this courage to speak about efficiency. The Israeli Prime Minister, who was in office when the 7th of October happened, couldn't speak about efficiency. We all saw your borders infiltrated and penetrated by Hamas on the 7th of October in the daylight. So we can imagine what happens in the darkness of night. You are the same prime minister who was in office when the 7th of October happened. That's insane. We all know that the Israeli borders with Gaza are penetrated and infiltrated not only on the 7th of October, but every single day. Hamas infiltrate and penetrate these borders every day. More than that, Hamas has deals with settlers to provide them weapons through the Israeli borders. We all know that. We all know that all Hamas weapons get into Gaza through the Israeli borders. We all know that. There is no doubt about that. And the 7th of October was a great evidence on what we are talking about now. So you are the last one to talk about efficiency in this regard. This is about securing the border and the Philadelphia Corridor security. Let's get to another point. Is it really, Philadelphia Corridor, is it really important to Egyptians? I want to clear something to you. Philadelphia Corridor is not inside Egypt, it's outside Egypt. It's not behind our borders, it's in Gaza Strip. And you need to understand something. Philadelphia Corridor, when we talk about Philadelphia Corridor, here we are talking about a 14-kilometer border. So maybe you say, okay, may Egypt don't want to share borders with Israel. You need to understand that we already share more than 200-kilometer borders with Israel. So it won't be a big deal to add a 14-kilometer. This is not the issue in this conflict. So if the Philadelphia Corridor is not important to the Egyptian security, it's not in Egyptian land, so why Egypt insists on a Palestinian authority on this corridor? You need to understand that Egypt is an honorable, respectable, honest country. And Egypt believes and acknowledges and support the existence of a Palestinian state. So if we agreed to let Benjamin Netanyahu take over this border, this Philadelphia Corridor, then this will ruin the whole notion of a Palestinian state. Because imagine that USA has border with Mexico under the control of Venezuela. That's insane. This is insane. You can't share borders with a country under another country authority. So this is imperative for us to have a Palestinian authority on the other side of the border. This is number one. Number two, Philadelphia Corridor is the only border that connects Gaza with the outside world. So if Benjamin Netanyahu put his hands on Philadelphia Corridor, then there will be no contact between Gaza and the outside world. So it's impossible to let this happen, because we already have seen what happened during what's happening. Actually, it's still happening in this war. The Israeli army prevents food, prevents aids, medical aids, prevents even water and electricity to go to Gaza. So how we let the only border that Gaza shares with the outer world under the Benjamin Netanyahu hands? That's impossible. So that's why Egypt insists on a Palestinian state authority on the other side. I hope that you are not being fooled with his statement, because we all know that he's a big liar. But this is not a problem for us. But just we wanted to clear the things, since I am Middle Eastern. So I wanted to give you our point of view about this conflict. I hope I was able to deliver the message to you, and I hope that I will be able to see you again. Thank you very much, and see you again.